A surprising place to find AI is in a classroom, but as time goes on, AI is being utilized as a learning tool to help kids develop stronger writing skills. Our Cassidy Fury is live in the studio to tell us more about how schools are working with the tool, not against it. Cassidy.
Thank you, Phyllis. AI is showing up more and more in classrooms, helping teachers personalize lessons and helping students improve their work. Certain AI platforms used by teachers even give warning signs when a student uses copy and paste and other ways to plagiarize. I spoke with educators and students about how AI has transformed the way kids are learning and the way teachers are educating.
Back to School Real Life Ready, helpful answers for busy families, sponsored by Holtz Homes and Overhead Door of the Mid-Ohio Valley.
From writing feedback to lesson planning, artificial intelligence is quickly becoming a regular tool in schools. At Williamstown Middle School, 8th grade English teacher Tisha Skinner says the key is controlling how AI is used so it supports learning instead of replacing it.
There are two primary tools that I use, Snorkel and Class Companion. They're applications that allow me to go in and set the rubrics and identify what I want the students to do, as well as the perimeters for their assignment. It allows me to personalize it so that I get what I want out of the assignment, and it's not just AI wide open for them.
Skinner says students use district-issued iPads to submit work, then get suggestions to revise, grammar fixes, clearer wording, and ways to better meet the rubric. And she says it can take pressure off of kids who might be embarrassed to ask for help in front of the class.
Writing was a pretty tedious task for a teacher, especially of upper middle school and the high school level. The students wouldn't get many chances to practice because physically a teacher wouldn't be able to grade 10, 15 assignments and get them back to them with feedback in a timely manner. But AI's allowed them to have multiple attempts to practice and get better.
But as students use AI more often, teachers say they also have to address the line between help and cheating. Kendall Gant is heading into 9th grade and says her classes used AI to double-check writing and understand expectations.
I would definitely say using AI to kind of help you understand your grammar, maybe some grammar issues that you got wrong. I think that when you plagiarize, you just ask it to kind of do the work for you, which can be pretty decreasing your creativity.
In elementary school, the approach can look different. At Jefferson Elementary, 3rd grade teacher Audrey Hilton says she's using AI mostly behind the scenes to save time and build more engaging lessons.
I would say the biggest way that I use AI in my classroom would be to help create lists of ideas and inspiration to make the class more exciting and more extra features to it, things like that. And just give it a little more depth of some of the extras that I add into my classroom to make it quicker and easier rather than coming up with all of it on my own independently.
Hilton says she's not ready for 3rd graders to use AI on their own yet, but she is already teaching responsible use. Don't copy and paste, and always verify information with credible sources. Both teachers say AI isn't going away, so the focus now is teaching students how to use it ethically while still building their own skills. In Wood County, I'm Cassidy Fury with WTAP News.
Skinner says kids are more likely to retain what they learn through repetition. AI gives them the ability to recognize mistakes and practice correcting them. Artificial intelligence is a tool that Skinner says should be embraced and integrated into new ways to learn. Thank you, Phyllis. Back to you.
Cassidy Fury reporting live in the studio. Cassidy, thank you.